Hi folks, Nathan from KBL Texas Homestead, and I want to welcome you back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to bring you along and teach you how to build this cedar garden trellis. So it is a 72-inch tall garden trellis that is made out of cedar, and I'm going to show you how I can make it with 1 1/4 cedar pickets. Alright, so that's the key. Let's make this with 1 1/4 cedar pickets to build this trellis. It's super easy, super simple, anybody can do it. Today I'm going to show you how it's. Alright, so first you want to start with the cedar picket. So here's my cedar picket, and the best thing to look for when you're picking out these cedar picket is one with little to no knots. Now I was able to find this full-length fence picket and it has no knots in it, so I've got a few of those, and that makes it perfect, because when you start bending your radiuses, if there's knots in those bend points, they'll break. So if you do have knots, I'll show you where to place those knots for, the least possibility of them snapping and breaking in half. So once you get your pickets picked out and you bring them home, next you want to rip everything down to 1 inch. So this is that fence picket, which is 5.5, ripped down to 1 inch. Now you can't see that very well because my camera ain't focusing, so let's try that again. 1 inch. This is okay. So your fence pickets are typically 5.5 inches wide. So 5.5 inches wide, I rip these down to 1 inch, 1 1/16 to be exact. If you can get it at 1 1/16, then after you rip it down, that'll leave your last bit at exactly 1 1/16, and you won't have to do no extra cutting. So you rip your fence pickets down to 1 1/16 thick, and you'll end up with 5 pieces. And then those 5 pieces are the ones you bend for your fan to make it fan out. And then we'll use 1/4 of another picket, essentially 1 inch strip rip, to make the cross banding to hold it all together. So let's rip some material. Alright, now after you're done ripping, you should end up with 5 equal parts to use as your trellis bends. So We got everything ripped down to 1 inch thick wide. This is a 1/2 inch picket. And I'll show you how we lay these out and the jig I use to make this trellis as easy as possible. There it goes. Alright, let me talk about how I made those rips without pulling any measurements. So off camera, I have this little guide. I have this little jig set up in my saw. As you can see it here, it sits right in there. And what you want to do is, if you take your tape measure and you measure from the blade to the face of this fence, it is exactly 1 inch. So that's what I did. I measured from the face to the fence and got my 1 inch increment. See if y'all can see that, but from the face of the guide to the saw blade is 1 inch. And there you have it. So this is preset, and it makes all your cuts identical. That comes typically with any skill saw you purchase. It'll come with it. If not, you can buy them on Amazon. But all it is it's got a little grooves in your saw. It slides in there. It clamps down with this knob on the back. Now this here is a Makita magnesium brand that I'm using, but it's got the little lockdown knob in the back. There's the tail end of the guide that slides through those pockets. Like I said, you just preset that and it cuts everything exactly the same. If your measurement is not exactly 1 inch, it's a little less or a little more, it doesn't matter. The key thing is that all your boards come out equal parts, and with that guide, that's how you make it happen. Alright, so you want to take your ripped 1x pieces and put them all the way flush up against the board. Now these are the dog-eared corners of the fence picket, so just turn these like this so it hits that wood. They'll be good. Don't worry about that, because essentially we're going to come back and cut these off all square once we got it to where we like it. So you can do that prior to, or you can do it after. I like to do it after. So butt all your pieces up against the bottom, and then we'll take a clamp and clamp these up. Okay, so I like to measure 6 inches from my lowest point. So that's my dog ear, the top edge of my dog ear, 6 inches. Let's see if I can get this for you. No, this tape is kind of hard to read. 6 inches. Measure up and make a scroll mark on the edge board, right on the edge of the board at 6 inches. Let's make a scroll mark. Move over to the other one, same thing, 6 inches, make an edge mark. Now what you want to do with that, if you're scrap wood, you want to line it up on that 6 inches, because that's where your fan's gonna start. And we will clamp our material. Okay, at this point I want to add my glue on the face boards. So we're going to take our 1 inch material and turn it to the 1 inch side. See, this is 1/2 inch and this is 1 inch that we cut the width. Let's turn them flat to the 1 inch side, and from our 6 inch mark back, we're going to slap some glue after I open it. We will slap some glue on it. Then you'll take the other 6 inch part, slap some glue on it. The next one, slap some glue on it. Fourth one, slap some glue on it. Fifth one, no glue. Now, you want to turn all these back upright and force them together. Okay, now what I do want to say is not that important right now, but you need to measure your 5 or your center of your board. If you scribe you a center mark, which mine was 4 5/8, that way you know where the center of this board needs to line up. Get everything flush. Take your scrap blocks on your 6-inch scribe marks and line them up right at the edge of that 6-inch mark. This edge, this edge right at the 6-inch scribe mark, and this edge right at that 6-inch scribe mark, and then we're going to clamp that together. Now put a little tension on it, and then you want to force all your boards down so that they stay even at the top, close to. You want that pretty flush at the top here. And then tighten her up. Now you don't have to put nothing super crazy, but just enough tightness to stick that glue. Alright, now you want to spread your fans apart. So take that first one, put it over the hood. Take that second one, put it over the hood. Third one, put it over the hook, put it over the hook, and this one can stay in the middle. Alright, so what I like to do here is from your center board, just this one, measure 1 foot. And 1 foot is where you'll put your first crossboard. Right there. And then from your 1 foot mark, you will measure down, and what I do is split the difference. So from here to your 1 foot mark, find the middle, which I've marked up is right here, and that'll be your second board, and then your third board will come across your stops that you put. So after you measure down 1 foot on your first board, then you want to measure across from that 1 foot area to see what you have. Now here I have 29. I like to leave a little overhang, so I'm gonna cut them, let's say at 31 inches, let's say 30 inches. We'll cut it at 30 inches and then we'll screw it down. Alright, so we've got our first trellis piece cut at 30 inches. And I took a little 45 piece out of it. You don't have to do that. I think it just adds to it. It's a little detail that adds so much more to it. But simply all you do is lay your square over it. Leave a little section here. Lay your square, scribe you a line, and cut it. Boom. Do that on both sides. And it creates this little dog ear effect. Makes it look good. Now you want to go to your scribe mark that we had here. That is 1 foot from the top here. 1 foot. Scribe you a center mark on your board. This is a 30-inch board, so we've got a center mark at 15. And essentially what you want to do is line that scribe mark up with the top of your board, and then the scribe mark up on your half dead center of your board, and that'll put you exactly where you want to be. Now, another key deal is to make sure you're square. So you want to square this board up with your center board of the fan. So once you get that tapped, that's your center board right there. That's going to be your straight board that has no bend on it. You square that up, and that's where you want to be. Now simply pre-drill your holes on your wood, and then we'll glue it, and then we'll drive screws down into each one, holding that together. So let's knock that out. Now, check your square. Everything looks good. And hit the center mark. Switch over to a star bit. This is a T25 and the star screws. And these are the ones I'm going to be installing. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this in. And go ahead and lock this in. There, now I know it won't move, and I can pre-drill the rest of my centers. Okay, now that you've got those pre-drilled, that's where all your screws are going to hit. Let's go ahead and pull these out. Let's slap some glue on it, and we'll screw it back in place. Now all I do here is put some glue across each hole. I'll go ahead and start 2 screws. Since I know where my pre-drill is at, and you want them to penetrate just a little bit so you can line it up with the pre-drilled hole. Once you do that, set your first one. Go ahead and guide it in. Then set your second one. Go ahead and snug it down. Countersink. So, just the same size as the head of your screw. So you want that. Switch over here. I can't tell if y'all can see it or not. So you want it to be just a little bit bigger than your screw head. Now go ahead and drill and just countersink, just barely. All you're doing is putting a little divot, just a little divot. It's barely in there. That's all you want, just enough for the sink head to screw down and sit flush. We countersunk. Let's pull up these 2 so we can countersink them. Go ahead and So now we are going to split the difference. I'm going to measure from my block here to here, and I got 25.5 inches to the bottom. Oh, I'm sorry, 52.5 inches. So half of that will be 26.25. So you're going to scribe a mark on 26.25. So if you line up 26.25 with the bottom of your board here, you can scribe you a mark. And that's where you want to put your next board. That's where you're going to line up your next board. Now this one, we cut it to 11 inches. It's exactly 11 inches. Dog-eared the corners the same way. We're going to line it here. Let it overlap just a little bit on both sides. Go ahead and square it up with your center board. Remember, that's important. You want to square it up because you want them all to look the same. Once it's squared up and you've got your gaps how you like it, then you can go ahead and pop a hole. Dead center of your board. Pop another hole. Dead center of your board. Let's double check that. Make sure everything is square. Okay. You can drive 2 screws in it. Drive your 2 screws in it. Line up your screw holes with the 2 boards. I'll double check it for square. I like it there. Go ahead and lock it in place. Now you can continue with the pre-drill on the other ones. Center it up. Center it up. And center it up. Beautiful. Countersink. Pull these 2 up. Countersink. Glue up and drive some screws. Again, glue up on both sides of the hole. Let's go ahead and start 2 screws. Line them up in your holes and lock them down. That one shifted a little bit. I'm gonna check my square. I like it. Lock it down. Go ahead and drive your other screws. Wipe off your excess glue. I'm gonna check my square again. Love it. Now you've got your first two rails on. Now what you want to do is go down to the bottom and check your measurement there. So your width, we have 3¼ inches. Now I'm going to cut that one exactly at 3¼ inches. So it is square with the ends. Alright, now that we've got our board cut at 3¼ inches, you want to line it up with your stop blocks. We are going to pre-drill 3 holes, one dead center of the edge board, one dead center of the outside edge board, and one dead center of the middle. Now these are a little bit too tall. I should have cut them down so I can drill all the way through, but I've got them started. I know where they should be. And I'll be able to just countersink those. All right, now that we got those out the way, we can countersink our board. We can do our glue up. Again, a little glue on each side of the hole. Go ahead and pre-start your 2 end screws so that they're barely protruding out. You can use those as your markers to line up your board where it needs to be. Cinch them down. Put your final one. And call it good. Alright, off camera it was bugging me, so I went ahead and swapped out that little piece, put in a brand new one that is nice and clean, and I feel a lot better. So now we're going to flip this jig over and I'll show you what we do on the back side. I'm not going to flip the jig over, we're going to flip our piece over and show you what we do on the back side. So we flip over our fan trellis, we line up our center again, and we're going to cut another 3-inch piece, and I'm going to put that down here on the bottom. We are going to do the same steps like we did on the other one. I am going to put this. So first, I'm gonna show you something else we do. So, as I talked about before, we line up the bottom of our cuts. So we want to cut those off flush. So let's flip this guy back over. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right here where our cuts were, we want to square that up. And it's hard to do with all this stuff in the way. I'll use this little block to do so. Square it up. Make a scribe mark. And that's where I'm going to cut. I'm just going to take a little flush cut saw. You can use any saw. You can use a skill saw. You can use a big wood cutting saw, whatever you like. But I'm just going to use this flush cutting saw. Go ahead and cut it. You can see our glue was already working, and I might use that for something else. But now, once we got it all cut flush, we can flip it over now, line up our marks, and line up our 3-inch piece, our second 3-inch piece, flush with the bottom, and pre-drill 3 holes like we did on the other side. You want to hit the 2 outside boards and then the center board. So that is the 2 outside of your fan trellis and then the center of your fan trellis, and that's what I use to lock these all together. Now, just like the other ones, you want to go ahead and countersink them, and the depth you want to go is up to you. You can countersink them to where the screw goes all the way down and disappears, so you can come back and fill it up with sawdust and you never see it. Or you can countersink them just to where they're flush with the board. However you like, that's your preference. Whatever you prefer to do on that, you do. I just countersink them flush. I like the way it looks. Pre-start your screws. Do your glue up. Find your locations in your pre-drilled holes. There they are. Set them. And voila. Do your wipe up, use your jig. Alright, and that's how we use this jig to build our trellis. So you've got your facial piece here that'll be seen. You have your facial cross member here that'll be seen, and you have your facial cross member here that'll be seen. You've got your natural fan with your bowing of the wood, and that is our trellis. Alright, and that's how we build this garden trellis. Simple, easy, high profit. 72 inches. I'm gonna leave the clamp on till the glue dries, then I'll be able to take it off. But essentially, that's how we build our garden trellis. And right now, springtime, they sell well in my area. So thank you for coming along with this build. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you want to see future videos like this, hit the subscribe button. And like always, till next time.